Hey, I said everything, right? Or it? Is that a thing?
You didn't mention a rock. Could be a rock.
We're not insinuating that, but, how's it going nonetheless? What is he working on? He is in who?
Crows, about the objects update.
Oh, okay. So the next critical update, I don't want to give away too much just yet, because I want to show you guys as soon as it's out. But he's finishing up on the object file creation whole shebang where we can use a bunch of cool menus to basically implement anything, object-wise. So it could be something like an exit that has a special command, which will take some editing further once it's implemented. And then basic things like, mithril armor, leather scraps, you name it. Pretty much anything that we could think of, as well as the original objects from the object file. So we'll be that much closer to finishing the player inventory as well. So, we're making strides in quite a few areas at once. And if I may, as I'm continuing on this string, there will be a lot of other updates as well to mention. So definitely excited, but I will wait until that's finally implemented to really kind of dive into it. Just don't take away my Bonebreaker gauntlets. I hope not. Those are a staple in the game, I feel. Alright, Pontic Pontiff, have a good night. Sleep well. Dream often of female vampires. Whatever floats your boat. Are we doing the super slow progression through the shining, glowing, bright stuff? That's a really good question. I think as a concept, yes. But, it's really just kind of dependent on everything that gets implemented as far as content. So, you could say a little bit of everything, but I think that, it probably makes the most sense that we're going to progress through the game probably almost as slowly as possible, in a sense, to keep it entertaining. But, we don't want to just make it super easy, obviously. So that'll tie in with leveling. That'll tie in with just gaining power in general. So I think we'll try to limit that as much as possible, but to a degree. We don't want to make it boring.
Definitely not boring, but Lustrous was way too easy to get in DFC. Like, for an in-game enchantment, I know they added Brilliant later to DFC that you had to, like, what was that, like a one-time staff event or something? They would let you get Brilliant on your item. But anyway,
Right.
Lustrous was like in-game, and everybody had Lustrous. Mithril was in-game, and everybody had Mithril. It was way too easy for the most part to get those in-game enchantments and medals.
It's true. I think to a point, I think that once Brilliant started happening, and I think in the last like 2 to 1 year, 2 years to 1 year of the game, I think that things got pretty easy. But I think that's also just because of my personal experience and having having held a character that was level 60 plus, finally, for a long period of time, versus, I lost pretty much all my old characters. So, once I reached that point, I experienced the game differently. It was a lot easier to hunt and to kind of go anywhere and to collect gear and to just have like all kinds of stuff. So, it's true. I think that the unique items in the game and the invasion weapons and armor and jewels and all that, over the years, it was so much fun to make an invasion, and I'm sure Vasi can attest to that, as well as a few others. So that's probably why we saw so much gear, so many mithril, lustrous mithril, but let alone giving players the ability to make gear lustrous. So I think, I have some other plans involved with that whole kind of concept. So I'll be looking to, share that with you guys at some point. If not at the first release. So, just keep that in mind. We're definitely thinking about it. And we'll see how we present, awesome gear right off the bat. Will it be dependent on the demon doing it, or will there be NPCs to fill the gaps? That's a good question. Nothing's set in stone, but I think that it should definitely at first be player only. I don't see why NPCs really need to be there, but that's not saying no. And what Devilich mentioned as well is also quite interesting. Turkey lasers. Turkey lasers were OP, man.
Pew pew. Did they have guns in DFC, or is it just crossbows and bows? I can't remember.
They had blow guns.
Did they?
Yeah, there was. It was called it looked like the word glass, but it was spelled GLAES. It was like glaze or glice or glice, however you want to say.
One of those D&D materials.
One of them thingies, yeah. So that's a good point, because it shows that the technology in the fantasy world of Olmoran was very limited to whatever era, pre gunpowder, I guess, if you will, because you're using catapults and magic.
It seems like it was just getting, invented at that point, like gunpowder and the like. Like it was pre kind of that period.
Right.
To be honest, I like it like that. I was just wondering. But what do you mean the shops never work, Nania? You could buy and sell stuff at it. Do you mean like what do you mean that they never work?
DFC Nothing says, how will leveling go? Will it be easy to catch up if you start a few months after launch, or will there be some sort of power leveling? I'm to give you an idea of my kind of perspective on that kind of thing. I'm all for just keeping it kind of basic and simple and just kind of across the board, so that everybody has the same fair approach or experience. So I'm not a fan of special events. Believe me, I've seen my fair share of them, but I'm not a huge fan of special events that give you bonus experience, and all these kind of bonus little things, and all those extras are usually tied into games that are microtransaction, or you pay $15 a month and all this stuff, and we're really not trying to go that route. This is a hobby for us. We want this game to be an extension of our favorite game and a continuation of it, and so long story short, leveling will be it should be difficult, it should be to a point, but still fun. So I'm not gonna push for anything that's crazy like those examples I gave. But yeah, obviously, like Scott mentioned, you could group up. There should be a lot of grouping up at first, because I think this kind of experience is new for a lot of us, to be able to see this game, this world, if you will, DFC, if you will, kind of available to play fresh, like from moment one. So I think that's a very unique experience, and everybody's going to be weak, and there's no gear anywhere. It's too expensive. You have to really work your way. So it's gonna feel a lot worse than it actually is, but it'll also be a unique experience. So we're not gonna cater to make it, you're having a hard time saving your silver to buy bronze, swords. That's part of the game. So that should be part of the fun. I'll just quickly make a note. I know we kind of have 2 or 3 conversations going, but Algon mentioned real quick that Darkness Rises is actually an actual game client. The walkthrough is the other one, which is Echoes Through Time. So Elysian Rain, if you will, she's here to just kind of talk about DFC and her experience as a staff member. So yeah, so I'll just clear that up real quick. And yeah. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and kind of go over your questions, Algon. I'm Owen, by the way, if you're visiting for the first time. So your next question here is, well, I'll just go to the one I see here. Any timeline rough outline yet? Like I said before, we have a loose goal for the fall of this year to kind of have something that's playable or testable in some form. I think that whether or not we make all of our smaller goals for critical updates, you know, I tend to want to lean towards, you know, let's just get something that's testable and fun to play around with. So hopefully we'll get something going around fall. Oh, nice. I don't recognize the goblin name. I was Chaos though for quite some time. So welcome, glad to have you. If you donate, should it be through Twitch here? You can. There's a link just below the stream, and that's you know, tailored for this project specifically, so it will definitely go directly to Darkness Rises. So no worries there. And yeah, Jinkers, you know, being able to keep logs for so many years is definitely a triumph. So we're very privileged and very appreciative of those that not only have logs but have shared them with us. So you know, that since starting this stream, you know, and working further on the project, people have appeared out of the woodwork, you know, out of the blue, and it's been a pleasant surprise. So. Hey Jinkers, you know, any donation is a wonderful donation. Don't feel that it was only a certain amount. You know, Mike and I, when we started this idea, and even before streaming, you know, it was a constant kind of topic as to, you know, okay, well, so how much does everything cost, and you know, what are our goals, and you know, so obviously art is one of them. So. If it makes you feel any better, you literally did one and then a little bit more for a new portrait. So in your honor and in many others' honors who have donated before, you guys have helped pay for quite a few portraits and literally the rest of the portraits. So it does go to great lengths. So thank you. That's true, Elysian. Definitely feel free to. Holy moly! Algon, your donation is greatly appreciated. That's a very generous donation. Thank you so much. It's a good point, Scott. Yeah, we've all grown up. We're all, you know, in our